what better way to start than on board with Kenny Bernstein and his Budweiser King Top Fuel Dragster, race number 1 of round number 2. And he's up against this youngster, Tommy Johnson Jr. Tommy is just 22 years of age from Ottumwa, Iowa, and he is in the 4-second club. Has run a 4-second elapsed time. Kenny Bernstein has not, and this is his second season in the Top Fuel category. That's got to irritate him a little bit, Big Daddy.
Well, it certainly does. And, you know, even though he's got experience in racing, you never know. You look across that track and you see that youngster, and they're fearless, Steve.
Well, it's no secret that Kenny Bernstein's first year in Top Fuel in 1990 was less than successful. But he's got a brand new chassis from Al Swindle up in Tacoma, Washington, very much like the one Tommy Johnson Jr. is driving, Don.
Well, and also, you know, Kenny has run good. He's made some good 4-second runs, but not in an official race. So he is definitely capable.
And Dale Armstrong feels that this new chassis is allowing him to use all the power that he can build. And that was something that he could not do last year. It would just smoke the tires if he leaned on it too hard. Kenny Bernstein is truly a giant in motorsports. He has the drag racing team, a NASCAR Winston Cup team, and an Indianapolis car to run at the Brickyard this coming May. Tommy Johnson Jr. is just a good kid having a good time.
Well, Steve, he almost wasn't having a good time because he just barely made it here. There's a little lack of funds, but they finally got it all together, and he's out here racing, and we all wish him well.
Tommy Johnson Jr. in the car owned by Larry Frazier. He is in the far lane. In the near lane, Kenny Bernstein. Bernstein away first. And Jr. cannot catch him. A tremendous reaction time by Kenny Bernstein. He was only 200s away from a perfect light of 5:16 elapsed time at 272.14 miles per hour. So Bernstein goes to the final 4.
So as Kenny deploys his chute, we're back at the starting line for more round 2 action. That's Joe Amato's crew chief, Tim Richards, firing up that monster 500 cubic inch nitro burning engine, ready to go against the veteran Tom McEwen, who is back in action this year with a great new team led by baseball star Jack Clark.
And back down here at the far end, Kenny Bernstein jumps out of his car, looks at the motor, and apparently it has launched a spark plug right out of the engine and off into space somewhere. We'll be back in just a moment to talk to him when he gets his helmet off.
You heard that funny sound that the car made when it made the turn off, that pop, 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 pop. That was plugs that had blown out of the cylinder. Either they hadn't tightened them properly or the threads gave up in the cylinder heads. I'll bet on the threads.
Okay, as Tom McEwen gets ready for his burnout, take a look at this shot. Camera mounted on the left front spindle of Joe Amato's dragster. You'll see more of that later. Now, let's go to Steve.
Bad deal, not good.
You knew something was wrong. You went right to the motor. You felt something or heard something.
Oh, yeah, I went sour in the middle out there, and that's when that happened, obviously, and I knew something was wrong. I kind of expected to see a rod out the side, Steve, but obviously we blew the plugs right out of her for some reason.
When do you think they exited the motor?
I'm going to say about half track or so, because they got sour awful early.
These things tend to detonate so much they don't even know they're gone, really, in some ways.
No, not really. They pound each other so hard, and I'm sure we got a bearing before it's all over with, but you can't run quick and fast that way, that's for sure.
If they did get a bearing, could be a motor change in their future.
Well, for sure, Steve, they're going to have to put new heads on the Budweiser King, and that could mean a new tune-up.
Okay, more round 2 action as Tom McEwen backs into the starting line. This is going to be a good race. Amato versus McEwen, a couple of real veterans.
McEwen is driving a car owned by veteran Major League Baseball player Jack Clark. This is only the second race with a brand new team. Now, Joe Amato has everything going for him. He is the defending Winston champion, except for one physical problem, a neck injury that is bothering him. Joe, you're driving in pain after your shoulder surgery, and that's aggravated the neck. What's going on?
Well, Steve, I have my shoulder operated on. When I started doing therapy, it re-aggravated the 2 bad discs I have in my neck by trying to do the therapy for the shoulder. So it's like, one thing is getting better, the other thing is getting aggravated. So we're just trying to work it through and get the shoulder okay, and hopefully the neck will calm down later.
When does it hurt the most during the actual run?
Well, when you get in the car and you start the motor, the adrenaline takes over and you kind of just concentrate on what you're doing. After you get in the car and you're coming back after the run, that's when you realize what happened. You get the ice bag out and you put the brace back on.
I noticed you had big funny car style chutes on this car. You've gone to smaller parachutes. Again, the neck problem?
Yeah, I used to always run the bigger chutes, which were really a good safety item. If you lost a wing or something, it saved my neck a lot of times. But in the hindsight, now it's hurt my neck because it's just too many. It's probably 7 Gs or something when you open it. Now I put a lot smaller chute on it, which, it's a little easier on the landing. And I run a thicker neck brace than most people. which gives the helmet a little support, and it doesn't let the helmet. I run a light belt carbon fiber helmet, so all the little things we're trying to do to make Joe Amato keep racing here till we get our condition back to 100%.
You're falling apart, buddy.
Old age doesn't come alone, I guess.
Well, I can certainly appreciate Joe's feelings. I've been through all of that, and it's tough. And that chute does come out. I always ran the smaller chutes on my car for that very reason. Took my shot at going off the end of the strip, but don't hurt the back.
All right, Tom McEwen in the bar lane. Joe Amato in the near lane. Amato qualified in the number 2 position. McEwen was down in the number 10 spot, so it's Amato certainly the best bet on paper. Both of them running the small front wheels pioneered by my friend Big Daddy Don Garlitz. And here we go. You're riding on the Valvoline Special with Joe Amato.
Well, can Joe overcome that pain?
Amato never sees Tom McEwen and goes to the Final Four at 5:02, 279 miles per hour. McEwen had traction problems right off the line. We'll be back with more second round top fuel action from the Motorcraft Ford Arizona Nationals right after these words. Stay with us from Phoenix.